In the previous video, we showed how we are gaining more and more control over operations, how we optimize, adjust and make sure everything keeps performing at the highest level. But what's happening now is actually the next phase. We are moving from improving the supply chain to controlling where the real power in the supply chain exists. And that's not at supplier level, but at factory level. Over the past few weeks, we have made an important shift. Where we previously focused mainly on optimizing suppliers, we have now entered the phase of validation. So no longer just making changes and hoping they work, but actually measuring what impacts KPIs and performance. We are now looking very specifically at actions across different parties and measuring the outcome. What works gets scaled, what doesn't work gets removed. And one thing has become very clear from this phase. The biggest bottleneck exists upstream at factory level. That's where most delays and mistakes originate. But it's also where the biggest opportunity lies. We are seeing the specific product categories such as woven garments and injection molding consistently create operational issues. Not because the demand isn't there, but because the processes behind them aren't optimized. And that means you don't solve this with better communication, but with better control. And that's exactly where we are focusing now. We are actively building a system in which factories will be whitelisted and blacklisted. So no longer reacting to whichever factory is available, but intentionally deciding who we work with. The best factories receive more volume, more orders, and deeper collaboration. And that allows us to create something that's normally almost impossible. Better pricing, faster delivery times, and most importantly, reliable stock availability. And this is where things become really interesting. Earlier, we talked about a potential cost reduction of 5 to 8%. But now we are seeing that in some cases, the impact can be much larger. On key products, we could move toward 10 to 20% reductions. Not by negotiating harder, but by structuring smarter, consolidating volume, creating direct factory relationships, and only work with the partners that operate at the level we demand. At the same time, the team itself is maturing rapidly. Recruitment has accelerated significantly. Nina officially started at May 11th as a supplier manager in China, and her onboarding plan was fully prepared with clear milestones and direct impact from day one. In addition, we are now in the final phase of hiring a factory manager. We received more than 200 candidates and spoke with over 100 people, resulting in a strong shortlist of senior level professionals. The final interviews are now taking place, and that's a major step, because with that role in place, we won't just guide factories, we will actively execute at factory level as well. What you're seeing now is the entire system starting to operate together. The collaboration between the Netherlands and China is in place. The operational rhythms are working and the structure is becoming stronger every week. But maybe even more importantly, the team is starting to challenge each other on results. No longer focused on putting out fires, but on building structurally. And that changes everything. Where we previously solved problems, we are now building systems in which those problems simply no longer occur. And if you look at where the biggest impact will come from in the next phase, it's obvious. Factories. That's where pricing is determined. That's where speed is determined. And that's where quality is determined. In the next video, we will take you deeper into how we are structuring and controlling factory level operations even further, and how we are ultimately moving toward a system where we are no longer dependent on the market, but defining the standards ourselves. We will take you along for the journey.